And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
One of the party games that I really enjoyed was Talking Tango. I don't play it nearly as much anymore. It's kind of fallen a little bit from graces for different reasons. But when the company emailed me and asked if I'd be interested in trying out Synapse, when they gave me the instructions or told me basically how the game worked, I thought, well, that sounds an awful lot like Talking Tango. When I got the game, it was very much indeed like Talking Tango, but there were some differences, and it was interesting. Let me just show you. In the box, there's a nice plastic insert here. You can see the pieces that come inside. And I was really curious what these were. I thought, is that some kind of cup holder? But apparently, these are special Synapse bracelets because they snap around your wrist like this. And, oh, I'm stylish now. But that's basically to show who the guesser on each team is. Now, the game basically revolves around this device and a box of cards. Everyone forms into two teams, and then you pick which mode of play. First, you turn on this device, which sounds like it was designed in 1980. But hey, what have you. It looks new, if anything else, with those stylish purple and green colors. Anyway, the first thing you do is you pick how many players you're going to play with, and then you pick which style of game you want. The style that I prefer is random style. And when you play with random style, you simply, when it's your turn, you'll be pressing the button. After you pick how many points you're going to play to, 25, 50 to 100. So you pick that, and then you start this off, and what it will do is it will randomly pick one of the categories on the cards. You can see the different categories there, and then you pull a card from the box, and everyone looks at it except for the person with the stylish bracelet on them, the guesser. Everyone else will look at what the card says. There are 4 categories on the card. There are actually 5 on the device, but let me talk about these 4 first. The first is word link. Word link is simply a simple word. Recipe, what have you. Basket, words that are fairly easy to guess. Then there's, on the bottom of the card, is surge, which is a much harder word, or at least a more difficult word, like inspiration or warranty. Then there's brain chain, and that's basically just 2 words that rhyme. For example, mellow yellow or lazy daisy. And you have to guess both words to get the clue right. And then there's cross currents, in which both words start with the same letter. Alliteration, bad breath, or sixth sense. And so everyone looks at the clue except for the guesser, and then they start the timer, and the timer's going, and they each, all together as a team, are giving a clue to the guesser. But they do it 1 word at a time. One person will start. He'll say this, and the next person might say is, and they keep going back and forth until they finish a sentence. You can say period. In case you get all confused, you can say period, start a new sentence. You can say blank. You know, this is something that barks is a blank, and the other person's trying to guess the word. And as soon as they guess it, you hit the timer to show that you stopped, and then it says, look, it took us 31 seconds to guess that word, and we get 3 points. And so that's basically, the game will actually keep track of which team scores which points, continuing on with that tremendously delightful sound. And then it goes to the next player. If you can't guess the word, play immediately passes to the other team, or if you forfeit by messing up, breaking one of the rules, then the other team has a chance to steal the word from you and get points too. And so all this fits together in an interesting way. The game, I mean, of course, they're having these Synapse bracelets, you know, that's all for the novelty factor. I'm a little disappointed that this is basically here for the novelty factor too. I like the fact that it keeps score. That's good. I like the fact that it's a timer and a scorekeeper all in one, and that the faster you say the word, the more points you get. This keeps track of the score. You can redo it if you mess up for some reason or whatever, but it works very well in that regard. I also like the random setting of the game in which it will pick the categories, although you can also play where you pick the category or where you go through each of the 5 different categories. 5 categories, I should mention it. The game comes with a little piece of paper, and if you get the one category, creative impulse, everybody writes down a word, and they throw them in a box, and you pull one out, and that's the one that you have to do. That's just annoying. When we play, we always skip that one, and we play it when you get creative impulse. You pick which of the other 4 categories, because it's just kind of a pain, and if you get lucky enough to get the word that you wrote down, it just doesn't seem, I don't know, it really disrupts the flow of the game. But, I mean, they do include the pads of paper, and they do include 2 pencils with the game, too. So, I mean, if you want to do that, it's all there. And there's different forms of the game going through all the each category on a card, or picking the categories, or the random, the one I like. I just think they missed a great opportunity here. With how big this device is in this day and age, they could have taken all these cards and put them on here, where you could have pressed the button and up came the word that you had to do. So all you needed was this device. You didn't even need the box of cards at all. That's kind of a niggly thing. I mean, both of these fit together fairly well, but I just found that it didn't really work at cross currents. Now, what do I like about the game? I like the timer. I like the idea. I like the concept. It's fun, and it's better than Talking Tango, because in Talking Tango, you were paired up with one other person, and if you got paired up with someone who wasn't really on the same wavelength as you, it might be really funny, but it could also be frustrating if that constantly happened to you. On this, you have your whole team. The frustration's still there, but it's going to happen all the time to both teams, and it seems to work out better having multiple players rather than just two. I like that. I like the selection of words. I like the rhyming word selection. I like the alliteration selection. That's interesting. I do think they missed an opportunity here. I think the game's colors are hideous, but apparently party games have to be bright green and purple or something. It's fun, and it's funny, and people enjoy the game, but it's not a party game that people demand a repeat play of, which I think is something that should be noticed, because there are many party games that I brought out that people say, let's do it again. Did you bring that party game again? This is a party game that people enjoy, but they don't love. It's good, but not great. So that's basically what I can say about it. Now, if only I could get rid of the sound.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.